Hello, friends. Um, I'm making this video to talk about the most regretful and shameful thing that I've ever had to talk about publicly. There's a video that's out that's a compilation of me saying the N-word. It's a video that's made of clips taken out of context of me of 12 years of conversations on my podcast, and it's all smushed together, and it looks fucking horrible, even to me. Now, I know that to most people, there's no context where a white person is ever allowed to say that word, never mind publicly on a podcast. And I agree with that now. I haven't said it in years, but for a long time, when I would bring that word up, like if it would come up in conversation, instead of saying the N-word, I would just say the word. I thought as long as it was in context, people would understand what I was doing. Like that context was part of the clip we were talking about Red Fox, how Red Fox said that word on television in the 1970s and how times have changed so much since then. Or about how Richard Pryor used it as one of the titles of one of his albums. Or I was quoting a Lenny Bruce bit, or I was quoting a Paul Mooney bit, or I was talking about how Quentin Tarantino used it repeatedly in Pulp Fiction. Or I was talking about how a Netflix executive, ironically, used it because he was trying to compare it to another offensive word, and he said it out loud, and they fired him. Not calling anybody or just saying the word out loud. I was also talking about how there's not another word like it in the entire English language, because it's a word where only one group of people is allowed to use it, and they can use it in so many different ways. Like if a white person says that word, it's racist and toxic, but a black person can use it and it could be a punchline. It could be a term of endearment. It could be lyrics to a rap song. It could be a positive affirmation. It's a very unusual word, but it's not my word to use. I'm well aware of that now, but for years I used it in that manner. I never used it to be racist because I'm not racist, but whenever you're in a situation where you have to say, I'm not racist, you fucked up. And I clearly have fucked up. And that's my intention to express myself in this video, to say, there's nothing I can do to take that back. I wish I could. Obviously, that's not possible. I do hope that, if anything, that this can be a teachable moment. Because I never thought it would ever be taken out of context and put in a video like that. And now that it is, holy shit, it looks bad. And it's part of also me doing this podcast for thousands of hours, thousands of episodes, over 12 years. I said a lot of fucking stupid shit, which is fine when you're talking about most things, but not when you're talking about race. And there's another clip that I have to address. There's a clip from 11 years ago. I was telling a story on the podcast about how me and my friend Tommy and his girlfriend, we got really high. We were in Philadelphia and we went to go see Planet of the Apes. And we didn't know where we were going. We just got dropped off by a cab, and we got dropped off in this all-black neighborhood. And I was trying to make the story entertaining, and I said we got out, and it was like we were in Africa. It's like we were in Planet of the Apes. I did not, nor would I ever say that black people are apes, but it sure fucking sounded like that. And I immediately afterwards said, that's a racist thing to say. Planet of the Apes wasn't even in Africa. I was just saying there's a lot of black people there. But then I went on to talk about what a positive experience it was and how much fun it was to go to see this movie in a black neighborhood. It wasn't a racist story, but it sounded terrible. And like I said, you can have clunky stories about anything, but not about race. And so I deleted that whole podcast, but obviously somebody made a clip out of it and taken out of context. It looks terrible, but it looks terrible even in context. It's a fucking idiotic thing to say. And I was just trying to be entertaining. I certainly wasn't trying to be racist. And I certainly would never want to offend someone for entertainment with something as stupid as racism. My hope is that, look, I can't go back in time and change what I've said. I wish I could. Obviously, that's not possible. But I do hope that this can be a teachable moment for anybody that doesn't realize how offensive that word can be coming out of a white person's mouth, in context or out of context. My sincere and humble apologies. I wish there was more that I could say, but all of this is just me talking from the bottom of my heart. It makes me sick watching that video, but hopefully at least some of you will accept this and understand where I'm coming from. My apologies and much love. My sincere, deepest apologies and much love.
God, that was hard to watch. Dude, we lost Joe. He's gone. He knows it. The left's going to jump all over this. They're going to tear him to pieces, and he knows it. He had to have known this was coming. Man. Poor Joe Rogan. It's a really sad situation, I got to admit, because he is not what they're trying to portray him as. He's not a racist. It's going to be hard to argue that with his statement, and with the media, the way they know how to blitz some of these stories and just get it out there. I tried to put out a video hoping to get people that were looking to shitpost. I was looking to get them to watch my video and see a different perspective, but I don't know how much that's going to be effective in this case. But we all need to circle the wagons, that's for sure. Be on social media, in the comment section, please, and just shout out your support for Joe Rogan. Man, 2 apologies in a week is very uncharacteristic and very unexpected. And not only that, poor dude did this video at like 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning. That just shows you how bad it is that this guy, like I said in my last video, this story is going to blow up. It happened on the weekend. People are going to talk about it all weekend. Monday come, it's going to be on every front page news. It's already going to blow up. All weekend, they're going to try to use this to take my man Joe down. And all because he spoke the truth and stood up for us and our freedoms. So let's see what was said, and let's try to go over it. Joe Rogan apologizes for racist slurs as Spotify removes 70 episodes of his podcast. Now, that happened before he apologized. Anyway, whenever you're in a situation where you have to say, I'm not a racist, you fucked up. Yep, and he fucked up. That's the problem. He should have never said, I'm not a racist. He should have just said, this is stupid. I was taken out of context, and I'm very angry at the media. That he should have just, I don't know, man. I don't even know if that would work. You know, this isn't like when Dwayne the Dog Chapman did what he did. His was very bad. If you listen to it, you can understand the context of it and understand that he hates black people 100%. Joe Rogan isn't that man. Now, with that neighborhood comment, he was trying to be funny. He's a comedian, and I get tired of hearing that whole spiel, too, of he's a comedian. But anyway, so, however, the controversial episodes about vaccine misinformation are still available to listen to despite Neil Young and Joni Mitchell removing their music from the platform. And this is much bigger at this point than Neil Young or Joni Mitchell or any artist. Spotify is now going to have to deal with pretty much BLM and all the anti-Trumpers because they're looking for somebody to go after. And that's already who's pretty much going after him. He's done. I don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully he starts his own thing and you know, pulls the Alex Jones InfoWars type deal and gets more numbers than he ever had before. And I hope that's the case, but it just depends on these next couple of days on how this plays out. Now, this India Arya, dude, God, I cannot stand her. The smirk on, she knew exactly what she did and what she was doing. She knew she had him by the proverbial huevos. And it's a sad situation. Using the N-word repeatedly and describing a black neighborhood as being similar to the Planet of the Apes movie. It's like Roseanne. Look what happened to her. Earlier in the week, the singer announced they too were pulling the music from Spotify, citing their hosting of Rogan's podcast and his language around race as the reasons why. Get the fuck out of here. you were told to by some bigwig that owns massive amounts of stocks and you know what, and you're just a pawn. And just like they did to Whoopi Goldberg, hopefully it comes around to you. You know, like they say, everyone plays along until the eye is on you, and then what do? You look for everybody else to help you. Well, they're all brainwashed like you were. So anyway, in response, it appears as if Spotify has quietly removed several episodes of Joe Rogan's podcast. Now, I don't know, might have been in response. I think this is all kind of broke after that, I mean. So I think they removed it in regards to the Corona stuff, and then this video broke, and then he came out and said this stuff. So who knows? Following the resurfaced clips, Rogan took to Instagram to apologize. There's been a lot of shit from the old episodes of the podcast that I wish I hadn't said or had said differently. This is my take on the worst of it, he wrote in the caption for the 6-minute video. He started by saying this was the most regretful and shameful thing I have had to talk about publicly, before going on to say the compilation shared by India Arya is made of clips taken out of context of 12 years of conversations on my podcast. I know to most people there's no context in which a white person is ever allowed to say that word, and I agree with that now. I haven't said it in years. He has every right to say that word. Freedom of speech. Fuck that. I'm so tired of I hate to defend white people because, you know, I'm Mexican. But y'all are getting done dirty. That's all I'm going to say. So with that said, be sure to donate or tip by checking the description box down below. PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo. Need help from you guys to support these small channels. So please make sure you get down there. Hit the like button, subscribe, share, follow. And as always, you guys know the routine. To God be the glory.